Associate Vice President with Virtual Building Studio. So I'll be hosting today's session on behalf of Virtual Building Studio. This webinar is delivered in collaboration with ScantoBIM.Online and CUPIX. ScantoBIM.Online is a ScantoBIM service brand known for delivering fast, high, accurate ScantoBIM services for more than a decade. We are pleased to welcome our guest speaker, Chuck Pfeffer, Vice President of Marketing at CUPIX. Chuck will share insight on simplifying reality capture and how virtual tools and point cloud can be effective using within ScantoBIM workflows. We will answer all your questions during the Q&A session. You can always put in the chat box. I'm going to let Chuck speak now. Chuck, over to you.
So much, Manish. My name is Chuck Pfeffer, as you said. I'm Vice President of Marketing at CUPIX, and today I'm going to talk about democratizing reality capture, specifically for the ScantoBIM workflow. A little background on myself. I have over 30 years in the large-scale 3D measurement space. I spent the bulk of my career working for Pfeffer Technologies. You might be familiar with them as a laser scanner and scanning software solutions. And for the last few years, I've been at CUPIX, where it's been really exciting to see what we've been able to do, going from 360 video capture, your typical Google Street View, and taking that to now delivering really high quality point clouds, which is perfect for this new ScantoBIM workflow. So let's go ahead and dive in. I want to start just going over what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about how easily you can capture data, and then the workflow that we deploy to get you to that ScantoBIM solution. And then we'll also take a look at some real results of the thousands of customers who have been trying out CUPIX Vista over the last year or two. What we're going to do is dive in a little deep in how you, not just a contractor or someone that you need to hire, but how you can capture 3D point clouds on your own in just minutes with no training required, and then see how that fits into that ScantoBIM workflow that you need, and again, dive in to some real results. So, question is really, how do you document site context? Because creating BIM often requires more than just pictures or measurements or even a 3D scan, but you may be out there taking photos. The context of that is missing, and the things that are outside of the frame are often missed completely unless you go back to the site and check it again. So, oops, I missed that is very common in the traditional way to capture site context, try and understand to be able to build drawings in BIM. Now, laser scanning came along. Really, the early laser scanners were almost 20 years ago already. And although they've come down in price, they're still $50,000 to $100,000 for the high quality scans, if that's what you need. But for a lot of the drawings and BIM requirements, they're overkill. And so the budget may not allow for it. The scaling of your business may not allow for it. So we're going to look at other solutions that can serve that purpose, especially for the ScantoBIM application. So what we're introducing is a way to take 360 video and create measurable three-dimensional information. This is really as simple as it gets. You walk any job site with a selfie stick with a 360 camera on top, and then we do AI cloud processing, and we deliver what you're seeing here, which is not just a Google Street View virtual tour with panoramic vision, but also a full 3D point cloud that you can navigate through. You can jump to different areas and look around. And this point cloud is 99% accurate to a laser scan. And it actually can be made even more accurate than that, because if you have a known length, you can scale the accuracy to be more accurate than 99%. So again, you see here, you walk the site, we process it, a 20-minute video, which would be a 20-minute walk of your site. Most sites can be fully collected in that amount of time, and usually much less. And then within 2 hours, you're going to get a fully collaborative, cloud-based solution where you can share that information with anyone, including ScantoBIM.Online. And when you share your project with them, they can then use it to create BIM for you. So that's as easy as it gets right there. Here's an example just to show you the scope of what you can do. This is a 130,000 square foot facility. It's the Stanford Energy facility in California. It's a research facility, multiple levels. This scan was just done in an afternoon with 2 people. This would take weeks to do with a laser scanner. So imagine how easy and how many different places you can scan, without training, without any special knowledge of how to do scans or point cloud management. And this is the kind of detail you get also. So it's plenty of detail to handle, uploading it to ScantoBIM.Online and letting them take this and create, what you need for your next steps in your project. So that's basically the capability of this system. What I'm going to talk about now is a little bit about CUPIX. You might have heard of CUPIX with respect to CUPIX Works, which is the product that's been out there, for half a dozen years, and it's evolved and it's included the evolution of this point cloud generation. CUPIX Works allows you to do that 360 capture, but CUPIX Works is geared toward repetitive measurement to monitor the progress of a construction project. That's the primary use of it. It's also used for facility management. So you see, you have the point cloud, you have the panoramic view, and then you also have the BIM. And so this is when you have a design BIM and you want to see how is it being installed is an as-built, and you can monitor that progress as you go. CUPIX Works also supports laser scans. So if you have high accuracy scans, you can bring them in. It supports drone imagery and also creates orthomosaics and drone data. It brings in all the different BIM models and drawings, and then you can also add annotations and measurements. So this is a full-blown system from pre-construction through construction to facility management. Today, I'm going to talk about just part of what CUPIX can do, but I wanted you to be aware of the capability of CUPIX Works just because you may have other aspects of your business, and I think it could be relevant for you or maybe colleagues of yours to understand just the full scope of what CUPIX can do. And then we'll dive into CUPIX Vista, which is the product that we're going to be talking about today that can flow into the ScantoBIM.Online workflow. So for CUPIX Works, it's essentially your all-in-one spatial hub. It's where you can integrate all of your data, including that 360 walk, creates one single source of truth, has the point cloud, the capture, and the BIM, so everything is aligned and you can evaluate your project as it goes. Also, because it's a collaborative tool, it allows anyone who's a stakeholder, anyone who has any interest or part of the project to access all of this data from anywhere in the world. This dramatically reduces site visits. Now you can compare the built to the as-built over time, and anyone on the job site, whether it's a subcontractor or the owner or the site super or the project manager, everyone has access to see everything without having to visit the site or ask someone a question about the site and go help yourself. And then really the most powerful thing that we have built into the system that can be added on, fully integrated, is automatic progress tracking. And so this uses AI to bring in not just the BIM, but now your project schedule and all the details as it aligns to each BIM element. And then instead of manually going through the site and figuring out what's installed and what's not and where there's problems, this automatically provides a dashboard and drill down into the status of all the aspects of the project. So you can find things quickly and be alerted to things that are behind schedule, things that were installed maybe ahead of schedule now could cause conflicts. So all that is available on automatic progress tracking. So that's in a nutshell the capability of CUPIX Works. Now what we've done is we've pulled out a product called CUPIX Vista. And that's basically the essential capabilities that I think are perfect for this ScantoBIM workflow. So Vista is just the 360 video to 3D reconstruction, so you get the point cloud. We left in the notes, which are both high resolution pictures that you can take with your phone in addition to the panoramics, and also annotations. So annotations could be voice messages that get transcribed to text. It also can be notes that you write. And so this could be very helpful with working with ScantoBIM.Online because you can put notes into the project, and so they'll understand the meaning or the request for the BIM in 3D. These annotations are placed within the 3D model. Also, it has measurements, so anyone can take measurements, whether it's ScantoBIM or online, or you can take your own measurements. Anyone on your team can take measurements in the job. And collaboration. So if you want certain people to have certain access, you can adjust permissions, maybe just a viewer, someone else can add measurements, someone else can add annotations. So you have full collaboration capability. And I mentioned what CUPIX Works can do. It can do that, and then all the things on the right side too, which includes like integrations with other systems like ACC, Procore, Revisto, drones, laser scans, progress tracking, like I said. So, but today, the focus here is on what Vista can do for you in your ScantoBIM workflow. So again, just to make it very clear, it's a quick way to get your site surveyed, indoors or outdoors or both. It enables you to remotely collaborate with everyone on your team and ScantoBIM.Online. And it can be used for any kind of documentation, whether it's evidence or any need where you need to document a site. Not just for ScantoBIM. If you have the capability, you could use it, for a lot of aspects of your job. And CUPIX Works, like I said, you're doing design to build verification, and it's unified. It brings in a whole bunch of other data as well. So the applications that are enabled by Vista, well, it's really helpful in being able to complete these applications because anyone can be an expert in just a few minutes. It uses a very inexpensive camera, and it's so fast. You can do 20,000 square feet in just 20 minutes. So easy to do complete site surveys in just one visit. It's a fast track to get to the ScantoBIM workflow, which means you can immediately share it as soon as it's uploaded. You can share it with ScantoBIM.Online. And there's other things you can do with it. In addition to the ScantoBIM, you can do any kind of facility documentation, whether it's for insurance or accident scenes even, or just generating 3D assets that you need. So this is the hardware. We offer the hardware with CUPIX Works. Most of our CUPIX Vista customers are buying the hardware separately. You basically need a selfie stick and one of these cameras. And we recommend the Insta360X5. It's the latest camera from Insta. It has the best low light capability. It's actually better than the One RS, which was discontinued, and it's like half the price of that one. So the price of the premium product here came down in last year, which is different from a lot of other types of hardware. But in any case, the price of this makes it possible for you to really scale a business where you need scans or where you wish you could have got scans. Now you not only can collect scans for ScantoBIM workflow, but you could do it at scale because you could have every person in your company in the field, with one of these cameras, and they all could contribute in just a few minutes by doing a walk of the site. So you have the camera, you have the selfie stick. The last thing you need is your phone, and everybody already has the phone. So whether it's an Android or an Apple phone, you simply, when you sign up for Vista, it'll guide you to download the Vista Capture app. If you're using CUPIX Works, there's a Twin Capture app, which has more capability, but the Vista Capture app lets you to start and stop the scans. It configures that camera to make sure it's going to get the optimal out of each one of those cameras. We work closely with Ricoh and with Insta with their firmware, make sure that those cameras are set properly with the whatever firmware it's upgraded to collect the most capable generated video for us to process. And then it also integrates the GPS from the phone. So if you're outside, it will automatically place that on a map. And additionally, whenever you take a voice note or a high resolution picture or add an annotation, you're going to be able to put it in the 3D space that you're collecting. So all of those notes are not just in a list, but when you look at it in 3D, you'll be able to see them all in 3D. So what I'd like to do is an example demo, walk you through the features of CUPIX Vista so you get an idea of, after you do the site walk and you upload it, what does it look like? How does it work for you? So going to jump to another window here. And take you through. So when you're working in Vista, you will have everyone who's on your team will be able to come to a project that you're working on, and they'll be able to see the graphically the day, the name, the date, and the image of all of the scans that are in that project. And you also see where they are on the map. If we zoom in here on the screen, you can see, you can scroll through the different projects, and you can see on the map exactly where each one of these are. If they're all in the same town, you'll be able to see that. Otherwise, you zoom in and out and see where they are. So easy management of the different projects. Once you find the project you're looking for, you open it, and this takes you into basically, our site view. And this gives you both a bird's eye aerial view and a panoramic view. And this is not taken by a drone. This is data that was collected by walking this site with a selfie stick, and that's it. You can look around in the panoramic, and you can also move around within the 3D space. So you have many different ways of navigating this and viewing it. And if you have an area where you want to save a specific view to show someone, you can actually create a bookmark. There's a bookmark tag on the left. And then that would allow you to share a link, and someone could just click on the link, and then they would be like inside the building looking at exactly what you want them to see. Now I've switched it, where now I'm in the Google Street View panoramic mode, and I've put the 3D mode in the upper left corner. So what the upper left corner is showing here is where I am in the map as I move through it. And those camera icons, those indicate where the user stopped and took high resolution images with their camera. So in addition to seeing everything around you, if you need to document something like a serial number or a electronics control box or a sign, something that you want to make sure you can read clearly that's small, you can add those pictures. And these microphones here, they mean that there was a voice note taken there. And so those voice notes are transcribed, and both the images and the voice notes are all searchable because they're all transcribed into text. All right, so let me move to the next one. So you can also, when you're in this first person mode, you can switch it to point cloud mode. So now you see that maybe if you're familiar with working with laser scans, this is what it looks like when you move through the space as a person walking through and seeing the actual scan that we created. So this is all the scan created, not the panoramic imagery, but the true point cloud that you can experience on the ground. Again, this is all this when you share this, ScantoBIM.Online will be able to look at the same information that you have, not just download the point cloud. Of course, that's part of what they can do. This gives you an idea of how long it takes to capture. There's, let's see, 1, 2, now he's walking back 3 times. He's walking back a 4th time, doubling back a little 5. Like, he walked that whole platform on both sides, going back and forth about 6 times. That whole collection took about 20 minutes. That allowed them to go in and out of some of the intricate areas. If you had to scan that with a laser scanner, that would be dozens and dozens of placements, and you still would miss spots that are caught with this scan. You can see it shows different colors. That also gives you an idea of if you walk too fast or too slow. The red means you rushed it, but I would say in this case, when you're outside, because the lighting is so much better, you can afford to go even faster. And so the scan came out just fine. Here's another tool that makes it easy, especially to prepare data for export. So if you're exporting data to ScantoBIM.Online or to some other need, also ScantoBIM.Online can do this. It allows you to clip. This is showing clipping in the Z only. If you want to clip out the wires from the overhead wires of this train rail. But you also can use it in X and Y also, where you can open up the control panel and do all kinds of filtering before you export it. So it reduces the size and how many points or any extraneous points from trees or whatever that you don't want to include in the export. I mentioned before that you can take the high resolution pictures with your phone. So you have some signs or some images of lighting. You see on the left-hand panel now, you can see those actual images that were taken by the phone. Those are high resolution images that you can zoom in on. There's also there a text information that tells anyone who's looking at it about the tunnel lights. And it says the lights on both sides of the tunnel are out. So when I scroll down there, you see are missing bulbs and not functioning. So that's a different application than Scan2BIM, but it's an application that allows you to document any site with details more than just a point cloud. So here is the Omni notes showing you how you navigate them. I mentioned on the 3D view here, you can see the actual camera positions. When you click on it, it takes you to the different image, and then you could zoom in on that image and look at it closely. This feature here, annotation, is probably the most important feature for this Scan2BIM workflow, because in addition to just giving Scan2BIM.Online a point cloud, you can add in information. Now here they're adding information about an issue, but it could simply be how you want the BIM to be displayed. If you want to include furniture, if you want to include certain types of windows, if they can make a measurement and replace it with a certain window. Whatever you need the BIM to understand about the site, you can put that in as messages, and those messages are in the panoramic, but they also show up in the 3D space. Also, you can make measurements. So whether you're in the panoramic view or the point cloud view, you can click any area on the screen and then do a second click. You can measure lengths, you can measure areas, you can even measure volume. So it's all easily measurable. That information obviously is going to help the Scan2BIM.Online when they're looking at the distance between two things. They may nominalize it for the BIM, but here you see 7.8 feet is the height of that edge of the arch there. So that is a quick tour of the capability. Let's see, yeah, there we go, of CUPIX Vista. Shown here, kind of highlighting what I just went over. Here's an annotation, gives you some information about what's happening right in that spot within the 3D space. All the measurements of the dimensions of the space are laid out, and you have a panoramic view, of wherever it tells you you're standing here and the direction you're looking. So the workflow, as I mentioned, it's great for if you're renovating a space or you need to understand a space to deliver BIM. Scan2BIM.Online can take this information, easily with the accuracy, 99% accuracy, the LOD 100 to 300 models for early design communication. If you want to do scaling, you can get more accurate. And with the imagery you have, Scan2BIM.Online may be able to offer something even more. I'll leave it to them to determine from your scan what they can deliver for you. Floor plans and BIM, can be used for any kind of planning or construction or design, but also things like public safety, understanding the lay of the land for, fire drills and things like that are all, applications we've seen. The easy capture, it just democratizes the whole reality capture area, where you no longer have to schedule someone who has a special expertise to do it. You don't have to go and buy an expensive piece of equipment. The 3D DAHAS, which is what we're calling, that's the point cloud, it just gives you the comprehensive details for accurate modeling, but again, without the cost or the time. The collaborative platform is really key, and this, if you heard about CUPIX Vista a year ago, it didn't have the collaborative platform. Now it's on the CUPIXWorks platform, which is collaborative. So that means that not only can you upload a point cloud in a E57 format to Scan2BIM.Online, but they can actually join your project. You can invite them to your project, and then they can download it, and they can also visualize and explore the site as part of their creating the BIM. They don't have to ask you 100 questions. They can see it themselves. So the other capabilities, I showed you that giant scan. It's easy to do extensive site documentation. It gives you the virtual tour. You can make your measurements quick, and you don't have to go to the site to make your measurements. And that collaboration with anyone who's involved in the project is very easy. So the time savings that we've seen and the cost are just ridiculous. We have customers, easily saying, this is 90% cheaper than what they're doing to get the jobs done with the laser scanner. We've seen jobs completed 25 times faster. You can imagine just this view I have on the right is showing this library. And I think this is, I don't remember if it's Berkeley Library. Any case, this library, if you were going to laser scan that and you wanted to have data between all the tables and chairs, that would take a scan position everywhere. And you see this path that was taken in the scan, it went in between every single table. And so that was done, in just 15 minutes or so. I think I could look and see. And then you see it taking a length of the whole room. So if you happen to know the length of that room, you could easily scale that and get really accurate data. And then travel expenses, once this is done, our customers say, they're traveling 80% less. So, they don't have to make 8 of the 10 trips basically that they used to make to keep going back and getting more data. And easily integrated because it has standard output. There, I see that was, I think that was 15 minutes. And, sharing it directly with ScantoBIM.Online now, instead of just asking them to upload a point cloud, is much more comprehensive understanding of the site. And as I mentioned at the beginning, because of the cost of the camera and the ease of use, you can scale this across your organization. So anywhere that you need a scan, it's easy to make that available to anyone who works for you anywhere in the world. They could all get the Insta X5 online and be using it within a couple days. Let me move to the next slide. So I have here some examples that we collected. Like I said, we have thousands of customers who are using this today. And so we have some examples just to give you an idea. In 1 minute of walking a site, here is a small office. That's a 1 minute scan. That's it. Fully measurable, easy to have ScantoBIM.Online create your model from that. In 2 minutes, a 2-bedroom condo. So 2 minutes, you're in and out. Let's say you have to do 4 floors of 20 condos. That's a lot of work for scanners, which needs the scanner in every room at least once. Now you can walk each one of the apartments in 2 minutes. It's changes the game as far as scale. A 5-minute video to walk 900 feet down the street. If you want to walk around the block and get a full outside of a building, you see here, full detail, measurable of the street. 6-minute video. This is a hotel courtyard and lobby. Again, just fast and easy, and ready for BIM. This one has a little bit more detail. This was an 18-minute, and that's because they stopped and took all of those photos. So all of those pieces of equipment are now documented with control panels or serial numbers or expiration dates. You also can upload repair information like manuals as annotations to those. So this is maybe not, it could be a ScantoBIM upload also, but this has other facility management or documentation type applications on this type of scan. Here's an example on the right. It shows this image shows the detail that you could zoom in on more than you'd see in the panorama. You'd be able to see all the information on this control panel. Here's a documentation of a famous street, 10 minutes, scan the entire length of the San Francisco Lombard Street. This I'm showing partly because it allows you to measure public spaces or spaces that have people in them. You see here on the right that it automatically removes the face and body of the people in the scans. So when you're in the virtual tour, you don't see the people, but also this point cloud completely erases the people automatically. So going in and cleaning extra things, extra people out of it, the people are gone. Also, if something's moving during this, it will also be gone. So if there's a car that was driving down while they were walking, the car wouldn't appear because it wouldn't be in all of the imagery. So it would be deemed that it was in motion and it wasn't part of what the scan needed to include. And this is getting back to that first facility I showed you This was like a 4-hour, like an afternoon job for 2 people that walked this entire site. And over here, you see, I think there were 20 individual scans taken in just a few hours. So those are the scans. Now, just to sort of visualize some of what you can get from ScantoBIM.Online, these are the different types of scans that can then be created as, fully furnished, BIM creation, or just the building itself. You work with ScantoBIM.Online to define what your needs are. There's a boiler room from that Stanford facility scan. So just to give you an idea, it's really your part is very easy. You just walk the site and then share it with ScantoBIM, and they'll take a look at it and I guess give you an idea of when you'll be able to get your BIM. Here's a space as an example. This was a 10-minute scan. This scan is actually inside and outside of this building. It is a small office with a lab on the other side, and this is what was created here was just a simple BIM. Maybe LOD 100 BIM, just to know exactly what the space is. Here's another example in 16 minutes. Again, this is a scan that's done outside and inside. And so there's an example of BIM created from that scan. And here's a 2-story house, 15-minute scan. I've done 2-story house scans in 8 minutes for like a 2,500 square foot house. This one took a little longer, but it was fully furnished, I guess, when they did it. I did an empty house, but so when it's furnished, you want to make sure you're walking around, capturing everything that might be interesting for creating the BIM. And then this is that industrial space here, 20 minutes. Sometimes, like I mentioned, industrial space may include, it may take a little longer because you want to make sure you're stopping and taking information that there might be more detail required. So, in summary here, the CUPIX Vista Advantage, just kind of summing up what I've been talking about for the last half hour, you can easily convert this 360 video into point clouds with CUPIX Vista. It just streamlines the whole process of reality capture. It delivers the complete spatial context in just minutes. Now, it would be ready after the upload, which the upload comes directly from your phone, by the way. So as soon as you're done scanning, if you have a decent connection or you're in Wi-Fi for sure, it'll just go straight to the cloud right after you're finished scanning. So within a few hours, everyone on your team, including ScantoBIM.Online, could have access to the scan. Again, no specialized training, and the interface for the other users who are looking at the data also don't really need any special training, because that is a very simple user interface that I just showed you. And we also have plenty of online information about how to use the tool as well at CUPIXVista.com. The time savings, the cost savings, you have 90% cheaper than a laser scanner, 25 times faster than the other methods. And again, you're not going to have to go to the site for every question that you have. You just go to the collaborative space online. The export of the format that you need to move forward, the upload or direct sharing with ScantoBIM.Online, and the ability to scale your business because of the inexpensive hardware that's required and the cloud-based system that's fully collaborative. All you have to do is invite as many users as you want to your project space. So, best news of the day is that you can start a free beta today. So all you have to do is sign up at CUPIXVista.com. I have a QR code there. You could sign up on your phone, or you could go to CUPIXVista.com on your computer. You sign up. There's no credit card required. This is completely free. We're in a beta process right now. Once it is released, it will have probably 2 weeks of free trial for anyone who wants to try it once it's released as a commercial product. I said thousands of people have been using it already. Then once you're signed up, it will guide you to download the CUPIX Vista Capture app, which is available on iOS and Android. And then you can just start capturing. Now, you do need to get the 360 camera. So if you go on Amazon today, you can probably get it tomorrow or the next day, depending on how far you live from an Amazon warehouse. But it's as easy as that. And so we look forward to, seeing more users during our beta. And of course, during the beta, you can also provide us direct feedback. That's why we're doing the beta. And let's see, that is it for us today. We can take a look at the questions.
So thank you so much for all the presentation. To all the attendees, if you have any questions, just put in a chat box, so you can always contact Chuck directly. The number and credentials are given down here. So,
I'll say one of the things, if there's anyone who's used CUPIX Vista in the past, it used to be a system where you had a portable file that saved your scan, but today it's all stored in the cloud and accessible in the cloud. So that makes it that much easier to share it with your team and also with ScantoBIM.Online.
So I think, Chuck, you left your credentials on the chat. If you can leave it on the chat box, so anyone wants to contact, you can contact you directly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think the best. Yeah, I'll put my email in.
And then we have the scanner right here. Beautiful. So what we do is great. Thank you.
Oh wait, I don't think I sent that to everyone. Let me do that again.
You have to put it in Q&A. That's much better.
I think I can put it in the chat, or
let me just.
There we go. I put it in that.
I put it in Q&A.
Yeah, so somebody asked about the accuracy of the capture across multiple levels. And actually, for CUPIX Works, we automatically put the levels in place. But in CUPIX Vista, that would be up to you or up to ScantoBIM.Online to connect those together. You can combine the point clouds together on your own in that case. But for those multi-levels, you'd most likely just be scanning one level at a time and then maybe communicating how they should go together to ScantoBIM.Online.
Perfect. So, we'll conclude this webinar. Thank you, Jug, again for sharing us all the information. I'm sure it'll be a great fit for all of us, for now and for future. Thank you, people. Thank you for all your attendees for coming in. You have Chuck's credentials. You can get in touch with him directly or with us if required. Well, thank you, people. Take care. God bless. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye, Chuck.
thank you.
Thank you.